What is going on, everyone? How about we look at the other side of energy costs in the United States? Last week we did a video about the most expensive states when it comes to energy: natural gas, electricity, gasoline, and home heating oil when that applies. Basically, energy utilities and gasoline, which I wasn't very clear on the last video. I just kind of called it utilities. Some people were a little upset with that. My bad. Why don't we all just hug it out and we'll call it good? And I'm not talking about one of those inappropriate long hugs either, just a normal hug to apologize for coming up short. Today we're looking at states you can save a few bucks when heating your home, keeping your lights on, and driving to a train station to get a hug from your favorite YouTube creator as he passes through town. Like I said in the last video, I got on the U.S. Energy Information Administration's website and looked for the average cost for utilities in each state. I learned there wasn't much of a difference between small towns and big cities in each state when it comes to energy costs. That one kind of threw me off. I was a little surprised at that. I thought for sure living in a major city would cost you double. No, not at all. Like 5% maybe. All right, let's take a look. Number 10. Wisconsin. The Badger State is a good place to go if you're worried about energy costs. They don't cost that much here. Wisconsin does get some cold winters, so you think that they'd be pretty high on utilities, keeping the house warm, things like that. But not really. There's a couple factors for this. One, a lot of people use their fireplace and wood to keep warm in the winter. Now, I found a survey and people listed other things they do to stay warm during the winter in Wisconsin. One was own a lot of sweaters. That was great. And then one guy, I don't know if he was serious or not, but he said he likes to fatten up during the winter. He said he and his wife like to put about 10, 15 more pounds on as winter's approaching, and as they're getting older, that's getting easier and easier to do. I think it was hysterical. Anyway, Wisconsin residents on average spend about $110 a month on electricity, $41 a month on natural gas. Gasoline is about $148 a month, and home heating oil, which hardly anyone uses here, is actually $4 a month on average, giving them a total of $303 a month on energy. The absolute worst on the last video, in case you don't remember, was $411 a month, and that was in Connecticut. So just by moving to Wisconsin, you can be saving $100 a month on energy costs. Number 9, Nebraska. Nebraska being another Midwest state, which you'll find this list is filled with them. You know, they do get some cold winters and they get some really nice summers that can get a little hot, but in either situation, cold or hot, they're not the extremes like Minnesota or upstate New York or Arizona and Nevada get. No, they're just, they get their times, but they're kind of in the middle there. The thing that I always noticed about being in states like Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas during the winter is when the wind picks up on a cold day, yeah, that's pretty brutal. I guess maybe more for me because I grew up in Southern California. The wind there was always kind of nice and warm. There, that wind picks up, it'll change your attitude in a hurry. In Nebraska, the average resident spends about $122 a month on electricity, $36 a month on natural gas. Fuel is about $144. Heating oil, they don't use it, so there's nothing there, giving them a grand total of about $303 a month. Number 8, Iowa. Everything I just said about Nebraska is pretty much the same in Iowa. Iowa's just a little cheaper and actually a little more popular these days. More people are moving to Iowa than any other of these cornfield states, as I like to call them: Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. Now, one of the major factors of having such cheap energy costs in Iowa is wind power. As of April of 2020, wind became the main source of power for Iowa. Wind is a lot cheaper than burning fossil fuels. Didn't really used to be that much of a difference, but as technology moves along, solar and wind become cheaper than almost anything fossil fuel related. In Iowa, the average resident pays about $119 a month on electricity. Natural gas is about $38 a month. Gasoline is $143 a month, and nobody here uses heating oil, so that's out of the picture. Number 7, Illinois. Illinois is a lot like Iowa, Nebraska. It's just got a few differences. One, they haven't gone all in on wind or solar. Illinois has a strange electricity generation mix. As of 2020, Illinois got 7% of their electricity from natural gas, 30% from coal fire, 54% from nuclear. That's the most in the nation, by the way, and 10% came from renewable sources. So they've got a whole bunch of things going on. All in all, it's pretty cheap here in Illinois. Electricity is $101 on average. Natural gas is about $61 on average. Fuel is about $137 a month on average, and they don't use heating oil. That gives them a grand total of $299 a month on average. Number 6, Louisiana. There's not a lot of good things going on in Louisiana these days. I mean, every time you see anything about them, it's about their toxic air, their toxic water, their toxic people, crime everywhere, hurricane barreling towards them. There is always some bad news going on about Louisiana these days. The good news is they got cheap energy costs. Their electricity is about $145 a month on average. Natural gas is about $20 a month. Fuel will run you about $134 a month on average. They don't use home heating oil, and that gives them a grand total of about $299 a month on average. Louisiana doesn't get into the whole green energy thing. They're all about coal and oil burning plants. Number 5, Idaho. Idaho is extremely green and extremely cheap. They're all into hydropower. They got all the different rivers going through there, and they have stuck a hydropower plant on just about any place they can. It's not that bad, but they've done it strategically. Idaho has 17 hydroelectric plants on the Snake River and its tributaries. The plants vary in size and how much they put out. But it is green and it is cheap. How cheap, you ask? On average, electricity will run you about $114 a month in Idaho. Natural gas, about $26. Fuel's a little up there. It's $157 a month on average. And next to no one uses heating oil, so they give it a buck, bringing them up to a grand total of $298 a month on average. Number 4, Arizona. This one surprised me because it's Arizona. It's the desert. It's one of the hottest states we have. I just thought people would be running their air conditioners to the max most of the year, thus giving them a really high electricity bill every month. Theirs is a little bit higher, but not nearly what I thought it was going to be. This list is about the entire state, and I get it. Not all of Arizona is painfully hot. There's some, nice places like Flagstaff, a couple other places that have decent weather. But man, that Tucson and Phoenix area, that gets brutal in the summer. And I know people want to say, oh, it's a dry heat, though. Yeah, okay, it's a dry heat, but the dry heat just about melts my ears every time I go there. Arizona gets its power from a couple different sources, like natural gas and coal, but Arizona has a nuclear power plant that is the largest in the nation. The Palo Verde Nuclear Generation Station, yeah, it's the largest we have in the nation. In Arizona, your electricity bill will run about $140 a month on average. Natural gas, about $18 a month on average. Fuel is a little bit up there. It's $137 a month on average. No home heating oil here, giving them a grand total of $295 a month on average. Honestly, just my knowledge of air conditioners and heat, I think most of us not from Arizona would have just imagined that their electricity bill is like $500 a month. Learn something new every day. That's what we're here for. Number 3, Oregon. Yes, we get to the beaver state. Oregon offers you a lot of different things. Amazing landscapes, amazing people, great beer, clean energy. We also have riots, out of control homelessness, and a bunch of strip clubs. Oregon gets their electricity and their power from a few different sources. Hydroelectricity is really big here. They have a couple coal plants. They get a lot of it from wind, and they have some nuclear power plants. But a majority of it comes from the hydroelectric things, those dams and stuff. That's where we get our dam energy. I was born, raised, and lived in California most of my life. And when I first moved to Oregon, that's one of the first things I noticed. I would say my utilities probably dropped by about 20 or 30%. Enough to where I was going, wait, is that right? What's going on here? In Oregon, you pay about $110 a month on average for electricity. I can tell you right now, that is not the case with me. I've got like 4 computers running at all times. It's just, ours is crazy. But the average person pays about $110 a month, $25 a month for natural gas, yeah, that's what I pay about, and about $140 a month for fuel. We have some people on the eastern side that do the home oil, but not many, so they give us a buck for that on average. Number 2, Colorado. The Centennial State is another one of the states that's leaning heavy into the renewable energy sources. As an example, back in 2010, they got 70% of their electricity from coal-fired plants. And in 2020, that dropped down to about 35%. They do have a few natural gas plants, but most of their energy these days is coming from renewable sources. They have wind farms, hydroelectric plants, and they have some geothermal plants. In Colorado, the average electricity bill is around $92 a month. Their natural gas will run you about $43, fuel is about $134, and nobody there uses home oil. This brings them to a total of $260 a month on average for energy. All right, before we get to number one, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day that's been on hiatus for a couple months now while everyone's on vacation and things like that. A lot of things have been going on, but we will start that back up soon. So go over there, check it out, maybe give a video a look, subscribe, whatever. All right, on to number one. And number one. Washington State. Washington has extremely cheap and green electricity. They are big into hydroelectric dams. Matter of fact, they have the Grand Coulee Dam, which is on the Columbia River west of Spokane. It is one of the largest structures ever built by human beings. It's 550 feet high and it's 5,223 feet long. It's just shy of a mile long. Now, their fuel prices for your car, they're about third highest in the nation usually, but their electricity is so cheap it kind of overshadows that. They produce so much electricity, they sell it to surrounding states. They also have a nuclear power plant, and Washington State relies heavily on a natural gas produced in Canada and transported by a pipeline to U.S. markets. Washington these days pops up as one of the best states. Depending on what you're looking at, they're usually doing good things in Washington. Sure, just like Portland, Seattle's got their homeless situation. They've had some riots, things like that. But just about everything else in that state is going right. They're doing things right there. No place is perfect. In Washington, you'll pay about $104 a month on electricity, $26 a month on natural gas, $131 on gasoline, and then they have a few residents that do have the home oil thing, so that's $2 a month on average, giving Washington State a grand total of $262 a month for energy. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a good day, and be nice to each other.